Around 11,000 years ago, when the pyramids of Egypt had not yet been built, when Stonehenge did not exist even as an idea, and when most humans were still living in small groups of hunters and gatherers, something extraordinary was already happening on top of a limestone hill in what is now southeastern Turkey. Here, ancient people were creating massive stone circles, carving mysterious symbols into enormous pillars, and building a monument that would force modern researchers to rethink the origins of civilization itself. This place is called Göbekli Tepe, and many scientists consider it one of the most important archaeological discoveries of the modern era. The story of Göbekli Tepe is remarkable because for a long time, nobody knew what was hidden beneath the ordinary-looking hill. In the middle of the 20th century, archaeologists visited the area but concluded that it was simply a natural mound with some later remains. No one imagined that beneath several meters of soil was a complex built more than 11,000 years ago. Everything changed in 1994, when German archaeologist Klaus Schmidt examined unusual stone fragments found on the hill. Objects that had previously been ignored appeared too carefully shaped to be ordinary stones. When excavations began, his suspicions were confirmed. Beneath the earth were enormous T-shaped limestone pillars arranged in circular structures. Some pillars reached more than 5 meters in height and weighed many tons. But the most surprising discovery was not only their size, it was their age. Scientific analysis showed that Göbekli Tepe was constructed around the 10th millennium BC. This means the site is thousands of years older than Stonehenge and more than 7,000 years older than the Egyptian pyramids. This discovery challenged traditional ideas about human history. For many years, historians believed that humans first developed agriculture, created permanent settlements, and only later built temples, cities, and complex societies. But Göbekli Tepe suggests that the story may have happened differently. Its builders appear to have created a massive ceremonial center before the widespread development of farming. They lived in a world where hunting and gathering were still the foundation of survival. So why would people who were constantly searching for food spend enormous amounts of time and energy building such an ambitious monument? The answer remains unknown. Archaeologists have not discovered evidence of ordinary homes or a large permanent settlement at the site. Instead, they found massive stone circles decorated with animal carvings. The pillars display images of snakes, foxes, wild boars, cranes, scorpions, bulls, and powerful predators. Some carvings are so detailed that researchers can still recognize individual features thousands of years later. The 2 central pillars inside each circle are especially interesting. They appear to contain carved human features, including arms, hands, belts, and clothing. Many researchers believe these pillars may represent ancestors, important figures, or spiritual beings connected to the beliefs of the people who built the site. But if Göbekli Tepe was a sacred place, it was unlike any known temple from later history. There are no written records explaining its purpose because writing would not appear for thousands of years. There are no inscriptions telling us who built it or what ceremonies took place there. All researchers have are the stones themselves and the clues hidden in their design. One of the leading theories is that Göbekli Tepe served as a gathering place for religious ceremonies. Groups from different regions may have traveled there to perform rituals, exchange knowledge, create alliances, and strengthen connections between communities. If this interpretation is correct, Göbekli Tepe may have been one of the earliest known places where large groups of humans came together for a shared purpose. But the construction itself creates another mystery. Moving and placing enormous stone pillars required organization on a scale that many experts once believed was impossible for hunter-gatherer societies. People needed to plan the work, transport heavy stones, provide food for workers, and coordinate hundreds of individuals. This suggests that complex cooperation existed long before the first cities and governments appeared. Some researchers even propose that places like Göbekli Tepe may have helped encourage humans to settle permanently. If large groups repeatedly gathered at one location, they needed a reliable food supply. Over time, this need may have contributed to the development of agriculture. If this idea is correct, it changes the traditional understanding of civilization. Perhaps humans did not create organized societies first and then build temples. Perhaps the desire to create sacred places helped humans develop organized societies. This is why Göbekli Tepe is often described as a site that changed the way we view the beginning of human history. But the mysteries of this ancient place do not end there. Archaeologists discovered something unusual during excavations. After several centuries of use, the builders intentionally buried the stone circles beneath layers of soil, rubble, and other materials. This does not appear to be the result of destruction or a natural disaster. It looks deliberate. Why would people spend enormous effort creating such a monument and then carefully cover it? No one knows for certain. Some researchers believe it was part of a ritual process. Others suggest that the site lost its importance as human lifestyles changed. Another possibility is that the builders wanted to preserve the sacred place for future generations. Whatever the reason, this decision helped protect Göbekli Tepe for thousands of years. For decades, another question has fascinated archaeologists just as much as the age of Göbekli Tepe. Who were the people capable of creating such an extraordinary monument? Unlike the civilizations of ancient Egypt or Mesopotamia, the builders of Göbekli Tepe left behind no written language, no royal inscriptions, and no names that history could preserve. Their voices have been lost, leaving only stone pillars standing in silent testimony to what they achieved. Yet those pillars reveal remarkable skill. Each one was carved from solid limestone using simple stone tools. Some weigh more than 15 tons. Even today, moving blocks of that size without modern machinery would require careful planning and a coordinated team. Researchers believe the builders quarried the stone from nearby outcrops before transporting it several hundred meters to the construction site. Exactly how they accomplished this remains uncertain. Wooden rollers, sledges, ropes, and sheer human strength are considered the most likely methods, but no direct evidence has survived. The carvings covering the pillars add another layer to the mystery. Unlike later civilizations, which often depicted everyday life or rulers, the artists of Göbekli Tepe focused almost entirely on animals. Foxes appear repeatedly throughout the site. So do snakes, vultures, boars, wild cattle, gazelles, cranes, insects, and large cats. Why these creatures were chosen is still debated. Some archaeologists believe they represented spiritual guardians or powerful symbols connected to local beliefs. Others suggest they reflected myths that have been completely forgotten over thousands of years. Another possibility is that each circle belonged to a different community, with specific animals serving as tribal emblems or sacred identities. Without written records, none of these ideas can be confirmed. One of the most intriguing discoveries is that only a small part of Göbekli Tepe has been excavated. Researchers estimate that less than 10% of the entire archaeological site has been uncovered. Most of the hill still hides beneath layers of earth. This means that the greatest discoveries may still lie underground. Every excavation season brings new surprises. Additional stone circles continue to emerge. New carvings reveal animals that had never been documented at the site before. Every new finding raises fresh questions rather than providing simple answers. Modern technology has transformed the way archaeologists study the hill. Ground-penetrating radar, three-dimensional mapping, drone photography, and detailed digital modeling allow researchers to identify buried structures without immediately disturbing them. These techniques have revealed that the visible circles are only part of a much larger ceremonial landscape. Some scientists believe dozens of additional structures remain hidden below the surface. If they are correct, Göbekli Tepe may prove to be far larger than anyone first imagined. The site has also changed how many researchers think about the relationship between religion and civilization. For generations, history books described religion as something that developed after agriculture and permanent settlements. Göbekli Tepe suggests another possibility. Perhaps shared beliefs encouraged people to gather together long before cities existed. Perhaps the desire to build sacred places inspired cooperation on an unprecedented scale. If so, religion may not have been the product of civilization. Instead, it may have helped create civilization itself. That idea remains controversial, but it has become one of the most influential debates in modern archaeology. Göbekli Tepe reminds us that history is rarely as simple as we once believed. Every generation builds its understanding of the past using the evidence available at the time. When new discoveries appear, old theories sometimes need to be reconsidered. This ancient sanctuary is a perfect example. A place that was once dismissed as an ordinary hill is now recognized as one of humanity's greatest archaeological treasures. Thousands of visitors travel there every year, walking among the towering stone pillars and trying to imagine the people who shaped them more than 11,000 years ago. Standing there, it is impossible not to wonder what ceremonies once took place beneath the open sky. What songs echoed across the hill? What stories were passed from one generation to the next? What beliefs inspired people to devote years of their lives to constructing a monument whose purpose remains uncertain? Those answers may never be fully known. Yet perhaps that is what makes Göbekli Tepe so compelling. It reminds us that even in an age of satellites, artificial intelligence, and advanced science, there are still chapters of human history waiting to be discovered. Somewhere beneath the remaining layers of Earth, more pillars may still stand untouched. More carvings may still preserve forgotten symbols. And perhaps one future discovery will finally explain why this extraordinary sanctuary was built at the dawn of civilization. Until that day arrives, Göbekli Tepe remains one of the world's greatest archaeological mysteries, a place that continues to challenge everything we thought we knew about our distant past. Its silent stones have survived for more than 11,000 years. The question is no longer whether they still have stories to tell. The real question is whether we are finally beginning to understand them.